I said, sir, but this Navmanch does not work 100%. He said, no, it works. I said, no, sir, it does not work. He said, no, it works. I said, no, sir, 100% times it does not work as a soul chart. And I was scared now. He's going to tell me to get lost, get out of my ashram. And then he said, then use Dwadashamsha. I was like, man, because that is what I was doing. Okay. See, today's session, we're going to deal with some past life issues. Basically, your horoscope completely is past life. But it's like when you go, like a doctor, he goes through a microscope. So out of the 12 body parts, significant body parts in your body, okay, he's trying to find out which one is contributing more. So broadly speaking, all body parts contribute to the well-being of a person, but heart and brain are considered more important because they control the whole body. Same is the case with past life astrology. There is a concept called 64 Navmanch, 64th Navmanch. My guru, the late C.S. Patel Saab, wrote a path-breaking article on it in Dr. B.V. Raman's magazine. And it was very well received and he became extremely popular for that. People used to call him, whenever they say, oh, C.S. Patel, Ashtag Varga, 64 Navmanch, Bhrigu Bindu, all these things, he became extremely popular all over India. Now, when it comes to 64 Navmanch, I'm not going into the calculation of it. 64 Navmanch means 64th Navmancha. 64th Navmancha. In Hindi, it is called 64 Navmancha. When it comes to this, the calculation is from the 8th house. Now, the 8th house is the house of darkness in the horoscope. When it comes to body part astrology, okay, the 8th house is not just sexual organ, okay. Many people take 7th house sexual organ. Many people take 8th house as sexual organ, okay. But the 8th house is the rectum area. In biology, you will call it the rectum area. That area of your body, even if you're standing completely naked under the sun cannot reach that area. That is one area of your body, okay, where the sun cannot reach. And that is the reason also it is called the house of darkness. When it comes to darkness, you have to think of it from a philosophical point of view also. What you were in your past life, what you're carrying from your past life, you don't have a written report about it. God has not given you a written report. Okay. For example, I suffer from motion sickness and I suffer from heights. I have these two psychological problems. Okay. And it's a huge problem. Even if I see a tall building, I go giddy. If I'm driving through hills, that is the motion sickness problem. Now, why that is the problem? Because in Gemini Sutra, there is one shloka which says, if your Atma Karak is in Sagittarius Navmanch, the person will die from heights. So my Atma Karak is in Sagittarius Navmansh. I am giving you 2-3 angles. One 8th house, one Navmansh. Why 64th Navmansh is calculated from your 8th house of your Rashi chart. Okay. Problem is, many of us who have over a period of time dwelled into Navmansh, dwelled into thing, most people only use Navmansh for marriage. Some of them go one step further. They use Navmansh for strength and weakness of the planet. That means if a planet is exalted in the Rashi chart, in the Navmansh chart, if it is debilitated, then it is considered weak. The way I look at it is Navmansh is not, then some people, which I found when I was in Ahmedabad 11 years back, Bhavsar ji is there. His guru was a yogi. Bhavsar ji's guru, Pramod Bhavsar's guru. His guru used to take Navmansh and Dwadashamsha. So we have published an article also on it, on his method. It is called Padma Chakra method. We were one of the first people to bring it up. Later, from that article, many people made videos, etc., which is perfectly fine. Okay. As long as the knowledge is getting promoted, sometimes you have to allow. But Navmansh, what I'm saying is not necessarily prosperity. Many people use it for prosperity. Okay. Ashutosh, you remember that yogi I had met in Banaras, Agnihotri Maharaj. Agnihotri Maharaj, you remember Agnihotri Maharaj?
He
has a small ashram in Banaras. I do not know. I have not met him. It's been 11 years. I wrote about him in the editorial way back in the magazine days when we had a digital magazine, textual magazine. So when I met Agnihotri Maharaj, although he comes from traditional Hindi belt, okay, he said, I mean, he had a very controversial view. He was recommended to me by some people who said he's one of the best in Banaras. So twice I went to his house, he was not there. Finally, one day, met him, we started speaking. He said, Rashi chart is the most ridiculous concept in Jyotish. Now, coming from a Hindi belt, all of us use Rashi chart. He said, how can you all not be scientific? So I was very happy hearing that word, you know. I'm sorry, I will extend this session because you all should understand now much. He said, your Rashi chart is there for 2.5 hours, whatever. How many thousands of people are born in that time? He said, how can you use Rashi chart? Then he said, the Chandra Lagna, Chandra Kundli, he said that is there for 2.5 days. How can anybody use Chandra Lagna? He said so many thousands and lakhs of people in India would be born during that time. So I was a bit shocked because, of course, scientifically we think like that. But coming from a yogi, you know, and it was an astonishing thing for me at that time. So I said, sir, then what do you do? He said, use Navmansh only as the main horoscope. I was happy. The reason I was happy was I had experimented on my own long back using, not that anybody had told me, it was just, you know, one of those intellectual, trying to be intellectual kind of thing, you know. So I had used Navmansh completely on JFK's horoscope. John F. Kennedy, late president of the United States. And I had, I think, presented in one of the Yahoo groups at that time. So I was very happy. But I said, sir, I still remember the days. I'm getting old. So nostalgia, I like remembering old days. I said, sir, but this Naumanch does not work 100%. He said, no, it works. I said, no, sir, it does not work. He said, no, it works. I said, no, sir, 100% times it does not work as a soul chart. And I was scared now. He's going to tell me to get lost, get out of my ashram. And then he said, then use Dwadashamsha. I was like, man, because that is what I was doing. I was so happy. You know, it's like you're a kid, and all of a sudden you create some formulas, this, that, etc. And then somebody tells you, hey, Einstein already did it. So it is that Einstein thing, you know, that ego kind of thing, you know, kind of. So I have been using Dwadashamsha, and that is the reason I like Pramod Bhavsarji's work. I have been using Dwadashamsha only for a very long time. Of course, I personally believe you need to use Nadi Amsa. It's very difficult to get the correct Nadi Amsa. But I use D60. Now, D60 birth time rectification, Yuvraj has mastered it. We had this D60 courses some time back. I think Nilima ji, you were present at that for those courses, if I remember well. So, D12 is the chart. Yeah, thank you. Is the chart of your lineage. Today, Ashutosh will teach you a rare form of transit, which he had mentioned in his first video when he had come. Ashutosh is a very great scholar, I would say, and his knowledge is extremely high, extremely high. Traveled all over India, worked hard. He's also doing some of our courses. He's teaching some of our courses. I think you're doing the course on yogas, right? Which is about to start soon, sometime. It will going to be a wonderful course. You'll all will realize that we don't know yogas. Anyways. So I have given you the importance. It's different. Whenever you're learning Shastra, you must always know different views. And you must be broad-minded to at least listen to those views without criticizing. If you are one of those people who are constantly criticizing, okay, आपके गुरु में ताकत नहीं है. Your Jupiter needs to accept new concepts, like how science has developed. You know, there are certain concepts of Einstein which we agreed. They were new. And then as time went by, some people disproved it. Okay, which also we agree. You know. So nothing is ultimate. I would suggest the Jyotish Darbar participants to experiment with what I have said. I have given you a very, very big technique in a very short thing. Now, how to see 64th Naumanch? And why 64th Naumanch is important, I have told you. It is carrying your psychological problems, A, or it is carrying past life issues. When you have psychological problems, it is something that happened in the past. I must have died from a height, or I might have committed suicide from a height, which is the reason I have this huge psychological problem. For me, traveling is like the biggest torture in this world. And unfortunately, my job is traveling. I have to travel different cities, catch hold of astrologers. They are good, they are bad, check them out, and then shoot and bring those videos out. By the way, very soon today, we will be releasing a video on Kerala system of Prashna. And I would suggest you all to watch it. And even if you don't have the kaudi, and even if you don't have the pan leaves, beetle leaves, you still can create something out of it. You need not have it. You can have any object. You can have 12 pens. You can have 27 pens for the cowdies, or 108 small, objects. You can create that, is what I'm saying. Okay. So we will go to Navmansh. Why? 8th house, 64th Navmansh. Okay. 64th Navmansh, all this while people have been using it only for transits. Why? Because it is mentioned in classical work. Patel Sahab wrote it. It is also mentioned in Prashnamaya. 64th Navmansh, I will show you how it is to be seen. This is not the way ideally you should be taught. Okay. This is a horoscope of Michael Jackson, the late astrologer Chakrapani Ulal from USA, one of the most famous astrologers of our times. For 20 years, Michael Jackson consulted him. And this birth time was given to me by Chakrapani Ulal via email. We have his letter produced also in our editorial. I think second or third editorial. Anyway, what is the 64th Navmansh? This is your Navmansh chart D9, everybody can see. Correct? Let me show you. This is your Navmansh. This is your Lagna of your Navmansh. The 4th house is your 64th Navmansh. The 4th house of the Navmansh is your 64th Navmansh. So the 4th house of your Navmansh carries the energy of the 8th house of your Rashi chart. Are you understanding? So this energy is carried over here in the 4th house. Everybody with me? Is it simple? If anybody has not understood, I will repeat it. No problem at all. The
No, sir,
4th, sorry?
it's okay, sir. We are able to understand. Thank you, sir.
Okay. The 4th house of your Navmansh is the 64th Navmansh. And now you see here, you go to Jagannath Pura. Okay. This is your basic. Do right click, go down, Lords of 64th Navmansh and 22nd Rekena. Click, you will get here. So the 64th Navmansh Lord is Mercury. How? Very simple. Which is the 4th house? Gemini. The Lord of Gemini is Mercury. So either you need to click on this option or mentally see 4th house what is there. So now Pluto is there in the 4th house. Now there is one very big secret of past life astrology. That secret we learn in school. Many people, many great masters of spirituality have said, life is a school. So if you don't pass your 10th standard, or if you don't pass your max paper, if you fail, what do you have to do? You have to appear for it again. What a very simple secret of spirituality. No mantras required to achieve God or for spiritual growth. Just take a piece of paper, write down 20 problems in your life. Then take another piece of paper, write down 20 shortcomings of yours. Whatever this is, You pay to an idiot called Sunil John $250. Please do my past life astrology reading. You don't need it. You don't need to waste your money. You yourself can do your own past life reading. Just write down 20 problems in your life, 20 shortcomings in your life. For example, my biggest shortcoming is my temper. I have an extremely violent, aggressive temper. My biggest shortcoming is smoking. Everybody smokes, nothing happens to them much. I smoke, I get a huge problem, which is an incurable disease. So are you understanding? You can yourself sort it out. So whatever areas you failed in your previous life, or you created those problems, will come back in this life, or at least a part of it will come back for you to master. Because God is not a sadist that every event of your life is fixed. He can't be a pervert. He's telling you, you're my son. I'm sending you on the playground called Earth. Now go and play and score that sixer. Score that strike. In spite of all your shortcomings. He gives us a chance. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. There is no judgment. There is no judgment. That is the greatness of New Age spirituality. There is no judgment. Our old spirituality, there will be judgment. A mother never has any judgment on her child. A mother always will love her child in spite of all his shortcomings. It is, I remember Nirupa Roy in the Diwar movie, she says, Vijay, you asked me, whom do I love most, you or your brother? Now Vijay is a gangster. Never went to the temple. Whereas the brother is the most idealistic person, police officer, exactly opposite. Always going to temple, always taking care of mother. But at the end, Nirupa Roy says, you'd ask me this, whom do you love the most? I loved you, Vijay, the most. Because I had no judgment. That is how God is. So you see, in Michael Jackson's horoscope, Pluto is there in the 4th house. Pluto is death. What is Michael Jackson's greatest story? Two things. Greatest performer and most mysterious death. Most mysterious death. First thing, how do we see? What is our technique? House. The sign in the house. Planet in the house, 3rd. 4th, aspects to that house. 5th, where that house lord is going and sitting, which sign it is, which house it is. This is our basic technique of our rishis. Basic astrology. If you know this, if you always remember this, it will be solved. The first thing, what is the sign over there? Gemini. Gemini is communication. Gemini is hands. The way Michael Jackson moved his hands, nobody could ever move it. Gemini is also singing. The lord of it, Mercury, again a singer, a musician, goes in the 2nd house, speech. With moon, Michael had a very compassionate voice. Very compassionate voice. Moon is the 5th lord of fame, dispositor of sun. So sun's energy, moon is carrying and putting it in Mesha, in Aries, in its exaltation house. Sun's energy is in the 5th house. Who is this sun? Father. 5th house is Purva Punya. His father made him. The person responsible for creating Michael Jackson was his father, who used to take a cane and beat him if he does not practice 14 hours a day. Sun's energy. See, you have to take everything here. Chaussat Nauman's Lord Mercury is combining with fifth Lord of fame, fifth Lord of children. You all know his problem. Mercury is the young prince. You all know the scandals that Michael Jackson went through because of children. Am I making sense? Everybody, I know this is a new technique. We are going to see several charts where this pattern will repeat, but note something. If the Lagna degree is not correct and the Nauman's Lagna changes, then the story will not match. The story will not match. This energy goes here. It is with Moon. Who is Moon? Moon is not alone. Moon is dispositor of Sun. Sixth lord of hard work, discipline. Father instills the discipline in this person. Any doubts? Anybody? Sorry, I'm very breathless today. I had a very bad day yesterday. Shall we take another horoscope? See, this thing about Chaussat Nauman's, nobody has done. So I understand it is new knowledge. It will take some time to seep in. It will take some time to seep in. Michael J. Fox, this is via ADP Astro Data Bank. I hope everybody knows Michael J. Fox. When I was young, all the girls in the school and college were mad about this young kid. Michael J. Fox, people can type. Steven Spielberg made his great Back to the Future movies where he travels in time, you know, and he becomes Marty. I still remember it was, his name is Back to the Future, Marty. Created the series trilogy with Michael J. Fox, where he travels in a time machine and he alters the future. He alters the past, so the future gets altered. Steven Spielberg was the producer, I think so. Robert.
Yes, sir. Steven Spielberg.
He was the producer, right? The director was Robert
Director
Zemeckis.
also. Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah. Anyway, now see the beauty. He became famous only for these movies. Then he got cancer. I do not know if he's alive still or not. But he became a sensation. Steven Spielberg became a sensation. For the first time, you had something, an Indian concept of past life. Okay? For the Western audience. And the screenplay was so realistic, everybody was like, man, time travel happens. Before that, I think Jules Verne had written, I don't know, Jules Verne, 17th century or 18th century, I don't remember. Jules Verne had written on time travel, time machine. I stick to, Vishal, I stick to Larry. Broadly, it is correct. Broadly, it is correct. Beyond that, I look at it this way. You give me a wrong horoscope, I should be able to predict. If not, then my guru does not have strength. Very simple. Ainamsha for me is useless. Because I don't have mathematical ability. So I have done pranam to Ainamsha. I stick to Larry. Till D60, it is giving me absolutely accurate results. And I don't want to say what work I have done on D60 nobody has done, because that will be egotistical. But I'm pretty happy with the deep study that I've done. I'm happy with D60. And in D60, Anamsha is very important. True nodes, mean nodes are very important. It changes houses four houses it changes. So I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, I will at least like to share my experience on Ayanamsha, which is what I share. Rest, you all can change your Ayanamsha, create your own Ayanamsha. I'm pretty fine with that. I mean, those who have the mathematical ability should do it, you know. But my bad luck or good luck, so far, Lahiri Ayanamsha works for me. Anyway, now, you see the sign here, Scorpio. Something hidden, something dark. This is the clues you get. Scorpio, occult. What is back to the future? He is going back 100 years in time. Something occult, correct? So this is what he's carrying from his previous life. He wants to do something. Now, any planet aspecting it, Jupiter aspecting it. Jupiter is the fifth lord of movies. Third house is television, fifth house is movies. Okay? So Jupiter sitting in the 10th house of career is aspecting. A guru has to be involved. Christopher Lloyd was his professor, the man who invented the machine. And deep bonding between them. Deep bonding. And then comes the fifth lord of love. He discovers that in his previous life. Okay? Now, the dispositor, there are two dispositors. One is Mangal, sitting in the 7th house. Another is Ketu. We will forget Mangal for now. Ketu is in the 5th house of Purva Punya. What is the meaning of the word Purva Punya? That means the merits or demerits that you bring from your previous life. That is the translation of Purva Punya. What did he do? He just did Back to the Future. Are you getting it? And he became a sensation, absolute sensation. Ketu itself means spirits unknown, unseen. When you are going back to the future, okay, means actually he went to the past, okay, except in one part 3, I think so, or part 2, I don't remember. I was very young at that time. So, when was the year he made it? 1985. 1985 was this movies. So he's going to the unknown. Ketu, what you cannot see. He's going back in time. We can't see back in time, no? 100 years back what we were doing. Are you getting it? Man's journey. Man's journey. When you think of an actor or a celebrity or any normal human being, you should be able to sum up his life in 3 lines. And out of those 3 lines, at least 2 lines you should be able to see from your techniques. Now I've shown you the horoscope of 2 celebrities. I become breathless. I'll take a 5-minute break. I don't want you all to take a break. Let today's session be a longer session. We have 6 more charts. And I'll show you how it is working in different people's lives. These are people whom I know personally since many years. But I want you to test now this technique in horoscope of at least 5 charts. I'll take a 5-minute break. All right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'll share a horoscope. Have you all tested on your charts? I mean, you don't need to show me your charts, but is it making some sense at least? Remember, you just started with the technique. When you finish 200 charts and your basics are more strong, things will become more crystal clear. But is it making some sense? Thank you, Kabir. Thank you, Niliman. See, this is my horoscope. In the fourth house, Gemini. Gemini means communication. I was earlier in the television industry. Remember, I said third house is television. So, third house will be Gemini. I was in the television industry. My 10th lord in Gemini. 10th lord of karma. Remember, I said take Navamansh as a complete chart. 15 years I was in the media industry. Then the biggest event of my life was when my guru died. When he was dying, everybody's guru dies, you feel bad, sad. I had a very special kind of love affair with my guru. He was 3 times my age. When we both met, both of us were jobless. He was penniless, so was I. And that continued for a long time. Anyway, the biggest thing for me has been I was one of those people responsible for agreeing. I was asked whether to remove the pipe from his lungs, chest. See, Gemini? Gemini is this part of your body. I was one of those people responsible. Fourth house is death. The sign in the fourth house will show how you will die. Simple but great secret. The last part of your life, how it will be, the sign in the fourth house will show. In 3 vargas. Anyway, I was responsible to remove that. More than that, Gemini is writing. Jupiter in Gemini, Guru's writing. The dispositor is Mercury. Again, it is going in the 6th house of Akala Mrityu. Although when he died, he was 92. Still, it can be called Akala Mrityu. Akala Mrityu means untimely death, not a natural death. Whenever we think of retrogression, the first planet that comes to our mind is Mercury. Am I right or wrong? First planet. For 7 years, he worked on a book on retrogression, out of which 1 year I worked with him on that book. On his deathbed, me, Badoria and Varamir, we promised him, we will publish your book. Somehow after his death, I was so taken aback because the book also was not complete. He was supposed to finish the major part of the book. It was not complete. He was not like one of our modern authors, who complete a book in 2 months. So even after 7 years, the book was not complete, and we never published that book. Later, a student of mine, she insisted, sir, whatever incomplete form, you publish it. And I was not willing to do that because that would spoil the name of my guru. Because the main part of the book he had not written. Then I lost that external drive, Gemini, again external drive. I lost it, communication device. Now that book is gone. So, was this, it was one of the most important events in my life, which I could not complete. Was it the same story in the previous life? Is a question that will haunt me forever. Are you all understanding? For me, my guru is so above. He tells me, go and die, I'll die. I've told this to even my wife. If mentor tells me go and jump off the cliff, I'll do it. I will not even ask him why. When you ask why, you are stupid. Your relationship with your guru is so pure that you just have to do it. Today's relationship of students is, let me extract as much as possible from the guru and let me steal the food from his mouth. But sometimes, the guru Sishya continues from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. So the love becomes a bit too attached and deeper. So I failed. I failed in this life. Okay. Let us now, I'll show you one horoscope of history. This is of Jawaharlal Nehru. Those who know the history of India and the importance of it will remember the movie Gandhi, where Mahatma Gandhi was involved, and there was this thing whether to make Jinnah the prime minister or whether to make Nehru the prime minister. Finally, Gandhi agreed. I mean, that's what it is said in the movies and history books. For Nehru to have the land. Who's sitting in the fourth house? Mars. And that too a Swagrahi Mars, but aspected by Saturn. So that Saturn will separate. And Saturn is in Karka, again land. Again land. Sun, government. Ketu, separation. So Saturn and Ketu double separated. Some, that is the reason, say that it was because of whatever. Nehru, we got this India. But it is like ruler, general ruler. Nehru's legacy is only that 16, 17 years of whatever, till from 1947 to 1965, if I remember well. That's his legacy of ruling the land, of being the king in the fourth house of throne. And every time there was war, why was there a war? For the land. For the land. Are you all understanding? So we lost a major portion of Kashmir, 1/3 portion, etc., etc. So that's his story. Let's take another horoscope